Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like next generation is just on the horizon. How's it going, everyone? It is Only here. Welcome back to another video. Of course, as always, the Game Awards 2019 was just held last night, and yeah, it was a decent show. It definitely had its issues, but we definitely got some pretty big surprises. Not really in terms of like the titles of games, but more on just what was there and overall the platforms. I guess I could say that this show started off pretty strongly and surprisingly with Xbox Series X. It was one of the first announcements on stage, and yeah, even when I was in the call with some of my friends while watching it, I was like, what the hell could this be? And then once I saw Master Chief, I'm like, wait, is this Halo Infinite, or is this like something that's not necessarily a game? And yeah, sure enough, Xbox jumped the gun and they decided to get the drop on Sony before their inevitable, conference next year, and they showed off the box, they showed off the name of their next generation Xbox, no longer Project Scarlet, with Xbox Series X. And yeah, definitely a surprise for sure. We even got like the slogan, how PlayStation always has greatness awaits. It seems like Xbox's slogan going into next gen will be power your dreams. Of course, as we knew already, available holiday 2020, and very surprising. I guess before I talk about the console a little bit more, I do want to talk about the game they showed off there. They showed off their first, Project Scarlet or Xbox Series X now, and it was Hellblade 2. It's called Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which, Hellblade, the original, was just one of my favorite games of 2017, so you couldn't have shown off a better title there. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with the sequel. Whether or not I buy an Xbox Series X for that, it will depend on just, if this game comes to PC. I imagine it will come to PC as well, so we'll see about that. Besides that, I do want to talk a little bit more about like what Phil Spencer said on stage about the Xbox, Series X, in terms of just overall what it will be doing, and it's a typical PR stuff. The box itself, I do want to say, I'm not really much of a fan of it. It pretty much is just like a desktop PC. If it was a little bit more like cubular, I guess. And yeah, ultimately, I mean, the box at the end of the day, it's not anything special, but it does look pretty like long in size, so we'll see. I'm surprised that they showed off the final box. That's something that typically is usually saved for, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess when they originally showed off the Xbox One, it was back in, what was it, like May? Yeah, back in May of 2013, so wasn't expecting it this soon. Alongside this, we also got details of the controller. It's now going to have a share button just like the PS4. Apparently they're carrying over the D-pad from the Elite series controllers that they did with Xbox, and apparently it's just supposed to be a little bit different in size, just pretty much in order to kind of accompany more variety of hands, and it's supposed to be their best controller yet, I guess. So yeah, with that being said, that's kind of surprising that they already showed off the controller, the box, and the name. Yeah, 4K 60 has been what's been said in like interviews, apparently, of what's it supposed to be. You expect it, to, considering like the jump, you kind of expect it, 4K was kind of very much like an upscaled kind of thing with the Pro and the Xbox One X. Next generation hopefully won't see that whole upscale. I imagine some games will still, upscale, but we should be going into native 4K at this point, considering the power that these consoles will have. And yeah, they're advertising it as 4 generations in one because, of course, with Xbox One X or just Xbox One in general, they added backwards compatibility. And with Project Scarlet, it's just going to be full compatibility with, like, everything they've done before. I imagine it's still obviously going to be the simple, like, the games that they, support. In terms of like Xbox One, I'm sure all those games will work for Xbox Series X, but the ones that they actually had to go back and make, compatible with like Xbox 360 and Xbox Original, I'm sure those games in particular will be just by case basis like they were for the Xbox One. Yeah, very surprising stuff. Whether, we see this again, I imagine they're still planning a reveal event that they're going to do in like, what, spring of next year? You imagine so, before E3. I don't think they'll just go to E3 only, especially with Sony probably going to be getting like a conference in February. They don't want to wait until E3, I imagine, so I'd fully expect that. Hellblade, when do I think that will come out? I think that will be probably like a 2021 title. We already know that Halo Infinite is going to be like their launch title for Xbox Series X, so I fully expect them to focus on that and maybe like one other exclusive that's yet to be announced and will probably be announced at like the reveal event. But in terms of Hellblade itself, I don't see them wanting to make that a launch title. I don't think you want to like launch the console with 2 kind of existing IP that's kind of already revealing a lot of cards. You want to, space those announcements. So I think it'll be like kind of what the infamous Second Son was to PS4. That's what Hellblade will be in 2021. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of expecting. Maybe it could be a little bit later. Maybe it's going to come out in like summer 2021. But I definitely think 2021 it will be the year. I just don't think it'll be available for launch yet. And there's really no reason to rush it out that. The other announcement was also just as surprising. Yeah, Godfall is apparently this new game being developed by the team of like ex-Riot devs, some devs that worked on like Ratchet & Clank and a lot of other series that were pretty much focused on gameplay. I believe the official studio's name is Counterplay Games, and yeah, they teamed up with Gearbox and they're working on this looter kind of slasher in a way that's very much, you know, kind of feels like a Warframe kind of game, you know. I'm gonna just completely say this, like when the PS4 originally launched, we got Warframe as like that next gen kind of, you know, looter shooter, or I guess looter slasher, and that will be kind of what Godfall is. The thing is, this game's gonna be coming out for PS5 and Epic Games exclusive, so yeah, pretty much PS5 and PC exclusivity. Yeah, that's very surprising because we're already getting into PS5, you know, kind of exclusive titles, because this won't come out on PS4. That's already been confirmed. This game is fully going to be only next gen only. They had a really good interview with PlayStation Lifestyle talking about why. It pretty much comes down to the power of PS5 and ultimately the big SSD that Sony has with the PS5, allowing for just all the detail in these open worlds and just that seamless kind of flow. Yeah, you imagine this game will be 60 FPS. I imagine there was like a very short GIF online of just this game, you know, in terms of how it's going to look. You know, of course, we'll have to see that for ourselves. Imagine this game will be 60 FPS, maybe 4K. I imagine probably 4K. Yeah, they said they're teaming up with Sony. This will be a PS5 launch title, and that they're going to be fully focused with them, you know, next year, with just, you know, in terms of advertising for PS5. So I imagine the next time you see, you know, the PlayStation 5 get shown off at like a reveal event, this will be one of the games up there. It'll be one of the PS5 launch titles. So I guess we have 2 launch titles available, kind of like, you know, kind of confirmed now. Halo Infinite for Xbox Series X, and now Godfall for PlayStation 5. So yeah, I imagine, you know, we're going to start seeing, you know, a lot of these next generation titles. It really feels like we're starting to get on that kind of cusp, you know, at the end of the curve. You know, Sony's already been showing off Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us, and Dreams even has a release date. Like, all their games that they have for the rest of PS4 are kind of already outlined now. So the next time we really see PlayStation, I bet, will probably be just for PS5. Yeah, again, it's crazy. We're already kind of here. It's going to be interesting to see the transition that we see, you know, already as we see, like, you know, Godfall will be a PS5 only title. There was like a big debate that I wanted to make a video, but I never got a chance to last week, in terms of like people feeling burned that, you know, PS5 games won't be played on PS4. But like, come on, that's the point of a generation. Would you really see Bloodborne and like Killzone Shadowfall run on PS3? Like, that just wouldn't happen. Like, you need these titles to kind of verify that, like, these games can only be played on, you know, next-gen hardware. You're only holding the console back, which no one really wants. So yeah, this won't be a mid-step like PS4 Pro. I mean, imagine it's going to be very interesting this time around because of just the whole compatibility. Like, a lot of times it won't just be cut and black, where you're going to be kind of like throwing away your old lineup of games like you did back then with PS3 to PS4. I imagine it's going to be a lot more seamless. Like, a lot of downloadable PSN games that you have on PS4 will be available day one on PS5. It'll be interesting to see. You know, ultimately, all we know now is that we're pretty much just here for next generation. We already got Godfall and Halo Infinite as confirmed launch titles. Hellblade is coming for, you know, the Xbox side of things, which is very exciting, of course, as always. And ultimately, as we start this new year, we're into next generation. It's going to be a wild year as we have all these 2020 games coming out in the first half of the year, while we're getting these big reveals for next generation consoles. Just strap in, it's going to be crazy. Next time this year, we'll already be having next generation consoles in our homes, and that's just kind of crazy to think out loud. This generation flew by just crazy. Like, man, very exciting times, of course, as always. Make sure to let me know what you think about all these next generation kind of news. We already got the name for Xbox, their slogan, and the box, and it looks like we're already seeing PS5 games start coming out in terms of just, you know, exclusivity. It's madness. So, of course, I've been online, of course, as always. Make sure to subscribe for future videos like this on the channel. I do want to say that my next video will be a Death Stranding spoiler cast for those waiting on my thoughts on Death Stranding. This will be my, essentially, like my review. I recorded a 2-hour spoiler cast with some friends, and just ultimately just talking about the game for 2 hours, you know, in terms of the game's ending, in terms of what we thought about the game overall. You can look forward to that hopefully in the next day or two. I'm going to try to get that out this weekend. Should be a pretty cool video. Looking forward to getting that out there, and yeah. Besides that, I've been online, of course, as always. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.